So today we'll be talking about the impacts of climate change, and specifically we'll be focusing on wildfires in California and insurance. So to sort of lay out the general plan of what we're going to be discussing, first we're going to be talking about causes of wildfires in California, then we'll talk about wildfire effects on wildlife, then we'll talk about economic and social effects, and finally we'll talk about the futures of wildfires. So to start off, let's talk about causes. According to the IPCC, the Intergovernmental Panel of Climate Change has increased the burn area in California by 5 times. As a result of increasing temperatures, there's more humid and there's more drier and arid environments in California, which are prime conditions for wildfires to start. These warming effects are made worse by winds, which change the trajectories of wildfires, making it very hard to predict where it's going and how to control it. Also, due to a long time suppression of Native American controlled fire rituals by the government, this has led to a buildup of natural fuel sources in California's forests, making it also very susceptible to burning. And lastly, because of a rapid human expansion into natural habitats, there's been an imbalance in wildlife and ecosystem interactions. And as a result, plants and wildlife are ill-adapted to rapidly changing environments, and also the new current, more fire-susceptible world that we live in today. So these figures sort of show more of a story of what wildfires look like in California. To the figure on the left, you can see that increased temperatures have mainly been targeted towards the western part of the US, where California is. And on the figure to the right, you can see that, especially in recent years, the number of large wildfires have been slowly increasing. And we'll explain more about the effects of this in the next section.
Hello, I'll be talking about how California fires have impacted the wildlife in the area. As you can see from this picture, the timeline showcases California's landscape fading from green to yellow to scorched brown as the years have passed. Lush forests have turned dry and barren to the intense fires. Many species have lost their habitat, food sources, and shelter due to the timeline of these events. While fire-adapted species have survived, those with slower reproduction rates or smaller populations are very much at risk. Overall, a mass loss of forests and ecosystems have led to reduced biodiversity. And due to an impact of these biodiversities being threatened, native species are being greatly impacted and currently either threatened or endangered. This includes mammals, including the black bears, whose food sources have been destroyed and they've been forced to migrate. Mule deers, as you can see from the photo, have lost grazing areas and have led to starvation for many of the species. This also includes birds. The California spotted owl, they have been declining due to the loss of old-growth forests, and bluebirds, which struggle with nesting sites due to the fires. Lastly, trout and salmon species have been greatly impacted by the fire due to the increase in water temperature and sedimentation from post-erosion fires. And this is all according to the World Wildlife Fund. Overall, California's wildfires have far-reaching consequences beyond the immediate destruction that we see. They reshape the entire ecosystem and push already vulnerable species close to extinction, disrupting the biodiversity.
Alright, so in addition to the impacts just mentioned, there are numerous economic and social effects of wildfires in the state of California. As for economic impacts of wildfires, at least of the 10 major insurance companies have left or decreased coverage for homeowners and property owners. This has all led to increased pressure for action and policies to address these issues. For example, the California Fair Plan, a state insurance program, is increasingly being used by property owners who are unable to find private insurance coverage as a temporary replacement. As a result of this, there has been more push for policies under this plan. Meanwhile, the California Department of Insurance has unveiled new regulations forcing insurers to increase home insurance in fire-prone areas, increasing insurance premiums. Many people have also been impacted socially, especially concerning health and demographics. Wildfires cause thick smoke to spread, containing fine particles that are often toxic for humans. These toxins enter the lungs, multiplying health risks for groups such as children, the elderly, and those with pre-existing conditions. Marginalized communities, often people with low incomes and/or colored people, tend to live in high-risk areas due to inequality in housing and land use policies. Many of these folks are less likely to have adequate insurance and or savings to recover from such losses, making the road to recovery even more difficult for individuals.
With all these impacts on various levels discussed, it's important to look at what the future looks like in terms of wildfires. The United Nations Environment Program published a report addressing the future of wildfires. According to this report, wildfires are expected to increase globally 14% by 2030, 30% by 2050, and 50% by 2100. The future of wildfires can be depicted really by a cycle. As greenhouse gas emissions, mainly carbon dioxide, increases, there's an increase in frequency of fire weather. This fire weather includes increasing drought, high air temperatures, low relative humidity, dry lightning, and strong winds, all of which will result in hotter, drier, and longer fire seasons. Once the wildfire starts, it burns terrestrial ecosystems such as forests. These ecosystems have been storing a lot of carbon dioxide, but because of the wildfire, it's released into the atmosphere, further increasing the carbon dioxide composition of the atmosphere. And so the vicious cycle continues. Various areas will also be impacted. By 2100, certain areas such as forests in Indonesia, the southern Amazon, and the Arctic are likely to have increased burning. Tropical savannas and tropical and temperate grasslands are also likely to have a change in burning. Here are references. Thank you for listening to this presentation.